Woodruff. I'm from New York City. And when I was a freshman in college at a Baptist university where there were lots of rules. There was don't do this, don't do that. You know, you had to walk this way, you had to talk this way. We had to go to chapel every week, which I'd normally slept through. I'd made friends with this guy named Jonathan. And one day Jonathan was feeling depressed and asked me if I wanted to hang out. And I said, sure. So we hung out for the day and ended up back at his place. So we're back at Jonathan's, just talking and everything. And he looked at me and he said, can I see your dick? And I was like, sure. So I stood up and dropped trowel. He did the same. Well, I spent the night. The next morning, there was a knock on his door, and it was the campus police. My grandparents called the police because I hadn't come home, and they gave them my license plate number, and my car was parked in his driveway. He panicked, and he just grabbed this robe and went to the door, you know, and I'm laying there naked. And he came back and he said, the campus police are here, they want to talk to you. I was like, well, give me your robe. Because I didn't know where my clothes were. So he handed me the robe and I walked to the door. And the police officer, it was a female officer. And she just stood there and she looked me up and down and I said, yeah. And she said, you need to call home. I'm like, okay. I did call home and I apologized to my grandparents. I said, sorry, I should have called. And I made up some story that, you know, I was helping out a friend who was depressed and, you know, turns out he wasn't depressed. He knew exactly what he was doing. So, and then I got dressed and went home. About a week later, we're called into the dean's office and explained why we were there. I think that the campus police officer noticed that I'd been wearing Jonathan's robe and reported to the dean of students what he thought was going on. And so without me saying anything, they just automatically assumed what was going on, which was what was going on. The dean looked at us and said, you know, this is why you're here. He explained what had happened, that the officer presumed this is what was going on, and so that's why we've called you in. Yeah. And he said, you know, what do you have to say about this? And I said, well, I don't know about Jonathan, but I had a great time. And he's got a mouth like a Hoover. The dean was stunned. He was just absolutely stunned that someone would actually say something like that. And I thought it was great. Jonathan shit a brick. He was sweating bullets. He didn't know what to do. So I was allowed to finish the semester, but nothing happened to him because his father or someone was connected with the president of the university. So I don't know exactly what happened. And then, you know, I left that school and went on to a few others after that and had a great time. I've always kind of been like that, but there was that I guess that defining moment of me just looking at them and just, you know, wanting to say, you know, fuck you. I think the reason this moment is important to me is because it's one of those times where I was shoved into a corner and I came out fighting. And I fought in a good way. I fought for my journey. And it's been great. And what I learned from that is I was true to myself and I was honest with myself. And it has served me till today. You know, I'm straightforward, to the point, and if you push me in a corner or try to throw me under a bus, I'll come out fighting. You know, and I think that's one of those little traits that I have that makes me successful in the things that I want to do.